Since many of you have been asking me to do a taper, I'm gonna do a taper right now. We're just gonna taper the back. So at least I can show you guys the steps, okay? I will start my taper will be to start with number 0. That will be my first guideline. I want to actually show you guys a diagram what we're going to do first. I will do the first guideline with the 0. Then I will do another guideline with the number 1 or the lever open, depending on which machine you use. Then I will erase that line right away. So I will start closing the lever little by little until that line is erased. Do a number 2. And then from the number 2, I will start down fading using 1.5 or 1. First with lever open, then with lever close, and then I will start down fading from the 2 to the lever open of the machine, and then just touch up whatever we need to touch up. My first guideline is going to be number 0. So for this, in this case, I'm going to use the Andis Supra ZR, and with the 5 zeros or the outliner blade. So I usually use this machine to take out all the bulk and to do my skin line. So this is going to be my skin line. I usually will use the bottom of the ear as a reference to where to do the skin line. This obviously depends what type of taper you're gonna do. If you're gonna do like a regular taper, that will be my guide. If it's a lower taper, then I will start lower. If it's a higher taper, then I will start higher. But for most part, that's where I will start my tapers. After you got your first guideline, I will skin the bottom. So usually I will use electric razor. You can also use a blade, whatever is your preference. Just to let you know, the electric shaver, you can actually erase the lines easier. Just something to keep in mind. For this blade, we're gonna use an Andis Masters. First, we're gonna start with the lever open, and then we're gonna close it little by little to erase that line. We're gonna knock out the line right away. The cool thing with the Andis Master is that it has the little guides on the side of the lever, like the little notches, so it lets you know exactly where the position of the lever. So I think it makes it easier. Honestly, for me, I think this is the best machine for beginners. I mean, because of that, just because of that, little notches help you kind of like maintain consistency while you're fading. So you start with lever open, and then you start closing little by little until the line is gone. You know, just every time that you close the lever, you don't go as high as the previous step. You just start doing it smaller and smaller, like shorter and shorter strokes, and that's about it until you don't see the line anymore. Next guideline is going to be a number 2 with the lever closed. So what I will do, I will just make a guide probably about like 1.5 inches, I would say. I mean, it depends because not all guides are supposed to be a certain width. Sometimes you gotta do them tighter, sometimes you can spread them out more. In this case, I would say maybe like 1.5 inches. So just make your guide. Just make sure you scoop out the hair. I think that's the way I like to fade, so I don't create more lines. So what you see, I use like a C motion to kind of take out the hair and kind of like scoop out the hair. Especially with tapers, is actually very useful. Then after that's done, I will start down fading. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use number 1 with the lever open and start knocking on that line. How I say, just use a C motion so you don't create more lines, and then just start, you know, up with the lever open and start closing the lever little by little, and then start erasing the lines. When you see dark spots, then just go back in there with the lever open and then start closing it little by little until you don't see the line anymore. So a lot of you ask me like, oh, what's the best way to fade? I mean, this is the way I fade. I fade from top to bottom, so I down fade all my haircuts. Then continue knocking on the line. You're just gonna close the lever all the way until you don't hear you're cutting anymore, or you don't see there's anything else to cut. Then at that point, I will switch the guards. In this case, I'm gonna use the 0 or the 1/16 of the Andis. So the same thing, I will start with the lever open, and then I will close it little by little, and then I will close all the way until there's no more lines. And after I'm done with this, then we'll have to go back with the machine without any guards, with the lever open, because Andis doesn't have like a 1/16 like the wall does, the very little one. they don't have one like that. They do have a 1/16 is the one that I just used, but I don't feel like it's small enough to erase that line that we created with the lever open. So then we just go back with the lever open and start knocking on that line that is there. What I would usually do, how you can see here, I use most of it, I use kind of like the back of the blade. So since the Andis has like a round blade, I will use the back of it or the corners of the blade. So like that, you know, I don't create more lines. I'm just using like a couple of teeth from the machine, and this will helps me like kind of like just knock out the line that I need to erase, but not like me create another line. I don't know if you guys can understand what I'm trying to say. Done fading, usually what I do is that I will grab a second machine, a different machine of the one that I was using, and that's what I do my retouch with. For whatever reason, I feel this works. Use two different machines. I think it gives like a two different type of textures to the hair, and to me, just kind of, I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like it works and it looks nicer. So I will use, like in this case, I using the wall magic clip. First, I started with the 1/16 with the lever open, then I closed it little by little until it was fully closed. I took out the guard and I started fading with the lever open first, and then I will close it little by little until the line is gone. And then if I had to do any retouch, I will, you know, put the guard again and just start retouching using the corners, light up whatever I need to light up. This client has very thick and very dense hair, so sometimes you gotta like go like fade it, blend it a couple of times just to get it right. Turn down fading, then I will do the shape up. I'm just gonna show you guys really quick how we shape this up. So I would just grab the machine, in this case the wall hero, and just line up the sides. Just make sure they match on both sides. I mean, nothing special, just follow the hairline of the client. That's it. You don't want to push it back too much. I mean, just if you have to even it out, whatever, just ask the client, you know what, I gotta even out your line, one side grows more than the other one, so I'm gonna have to push it back a little bit. Just talk to your client and see what he says, but just for the most part, don't push it back, because then when it starts growing, it kind of looks ugly. That's it, guys. This is a quick taper. Actually, my client doesn't get a taper on the back, but he actually was nice enough to let me like kind of show you guys the steps, so that's why I just kind of did it quick and then didn't use the razor or anything. So but you know what, I finished the haircut. You know, he usually doesn't get a taper, but how I said, in this case he did. So usually he just gets like a number 2 on the sides, and we just round out the back. But how I said, he was nice enough to let us do that. And that was it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys like these type of videos that are shorter but maybe a little more specific to everything, just let me know and I can continue making them. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. If you like the video, just like the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.